Hello, and thank you, Hannah, for asking me to share today. This morning, I went to a new meeting that my sponsor invited me to out of Staten Island. There was a lot of people that talked about service work, and when someone asks you to do something, feeling like you have to say yes. And, I had that feeling, but I also had that feeling like, why would I say no? Because I'm not doing anything right now, but chilling with my new puppy. And I'm excited that anyone would want to hear me share. So, Hannah, again, thank you. And I am honored that you liked my story so much that you're ready to hear it again. Like she said, we did meet in this meeting. I came in around May. May 11th is my sobriety date. So I have 4 months tomorrow. I cannot believe that I've made it this far. I really never thought I would see the day. And when I first came to AA, I was not even intending to quit. I intended to just cut back a little bit. I was successfully drinking for 2 days a week, but it was the most uncomfortable time of my life. I would only on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And when I would get done on Tuesday night at like 4 a.m., I would be so pressed for it to be Saturday so I could drink again. And I was so proud of myself somehow because I was only sticking to 2 days. The 2 days never felt shorter, and between those 2 days never felt longer. I was literally obsessed with getting to my next drinking day. And I now realize that that was no way to live. So I just have extreme gratitude that I have finally made it this far. And I'm finally living a life where I don't feel like I need alcohol to be cool or funny or the things that I somehow still am, that I didn't think that I need once I stopped drinking. I'm still fun. I still can stay up late, but not as late, reasonably late when I go somewhere with my friends. I can still do everything that I was doing while drinking without putting the poison in my body. And that feels so amazing. I've started living a much healthier lifestyle, a much more consistent lifestyle. I've been going to the gym since I stopped drinking. I take weekly progress pics, and it's amazing to see the results. And it's amazing for me to be this consistent in something healthy for so long. I have never really been proud of anything that I've done. And I've done a lot of good things, pretty smart, educated, but that didn't mean much to me. I'm a good mom too. All those things that you would think someone would be proud of. I just, for some reason, was never satisfied. But now that I have stopped drinking, I have that satisfaction and I'm pleased with myself. And I've just never been happier. My first drink, I was probably 3 or 4, maybe 5. My dad drinks a lot, or he used to drink a lot, especially on weekends. I don't think he ever really drank during the week. I don't remember that. But I know on weekends during the day, he would have Natural Light, which is, I live on the Eastern Shore. They call that the Eastern Shore champagne. Disgusting beer. But anyway, he would leave it on the coffee table and go to the bathroom. And I couldn't wait for that to happen. I would sneak a sip of his beer. And that's when it began. And it was so nasty, but somehow so refreshing. I loved it so much. And fast forward to like around maybe 8, my grandmother snuck me a drink. She would have like a Long Island or a pina colada, and she would let me have some of that. And she would also let me sit at her house. So like at family functions, my grandmother, my older siblings, they would give me drink. And I'm pretty sure it was probably obvious that I was drunk, but I thought I was hiding it. So I had been drinking secretly, or what I thought was secretly, since I was young. I never had the opportunity when I was young to just openly be allowed to drink. I was really restricted as a child. So everything I did had to be snuck in. And so I decided to graduate a year early from high school. And I went to West Virginia University, which is a big party school, 6 hours away, because I was thinking my parents won't be able to come and stop me. I'll just pretend I'm going to bed and being a good student and get off the phone with them and go out. And that's what I did a lot of the night. And I remember this one time I had tonsillitis and my parent pulled up on me. I went out by having tonsillitis. They couldn't give me my antibiotic until the next day because I had went to the doctor so late. And I went to the store. They have Kroger's there. I went in the store and I saw my parents in the store and I was like, what are you guys doing here? So that was kind of like, I had a couple weekends after that where I kind of chilled out because I was like, oh my God, like they're still cramping my style, I guess you could say. But I still, I partied way too hard and it was an adjustment drinking at the level that I wanted to drink, but it was still an adjustment. I remember feeling out of it. I guess that was like my first time being hungover because I never was allowed to drink so much that I got hungover. So I went to college and I experienced hangovers and it was the weirdest sensation ever. But then I got through it. And then it was just like binge drinking was no issue and everyone else was doing it. And I never noticed it was a problem or thought it was a problem, literally until May when I got sober all the way. and started reflecting back, did I ever realize I was already an alcoholic because of little things like everyone else would shut down around 2 or 3. And I would just be like, no, let's keep going. Like it was never enough for me. I never was satisfied. I always was willing to keep going unless I was somewhere throwing up, but I made sure I didn't get to that point because I knew I wanted to keep drinking. I strategically drank somehow, if that even makes sense. I feel like that's an alcoholic thing to say. After I left West Virginia, I was there for 2 years and I came home and fell in love with my high school compatibility list boy. We had a daughter and I had no problem stopping drinking from the moment that I found out I was pregnant. So again, I'm like, okay, I don't have a drinking problem, or at least I didn't think I did, because not drinking while pregnant and for a year of breastfeeding was no problem for me. Even after that, I didn't drink, but it was because her dad is also an alcoholic and he drinks so much. Somebody has to be coherent here. And that was me. And I was frustrated by that I had to be the responsible one all the time instead of us sharing the responsibility or us taking turns drinking. When I did my step 4, which I just did like a week ago, that was my number one resentment, her dad, because of things like that. And I still have thoughts about him that are not the nicest, even though, we're in and out of trying to work things out. And I'm understanding him more because he's, an alcoholic. I'm around alcoholics and I can understand how we think and that it's not personal. He just really can't help it. He's sick. I still feel a lot of resentment towards him. And Tuesday was the first day of school. We don't live together right now. And he was supposed to come get our daughter to take her to school at 7:45. He texted me at 7:43 and was like, I just woke up. Sorry, are you guys good? So it's just like, why do I still have to be the responsible one? And then there's a little bit of I stopped drinking. Why can't you? This was so insanely hard for me. Why can't you do it too? I know those aren't healthy thoughts, but that's just the honest truth of how I feel right now in regards to him. Still a lot of growth to do there. And I think it's okay that I'm frustrated and I'm happy I can be honest about my frustration. Anyway, I've had a lot of thinking I wasn't the problem because I'm around people that drink worse, if there's such a thing, than I do. And I'm the one that reels it back. I'm the mom friend. I've always been the mom friend. When I would be with my friends that drink worse than me, I would have to dial it back. Just a lot of maybe in denial. I was for years. And I had a traumatic event. And that's when I really started drinking. I got attacked and I kind of had a meltdown about it. First, I started drinking. I feel like maybe if I wasn't drinking as hard as I would have been able to process it better. So anyway, I started drinking really heavy. I met a guy. I started drinking really heavily with him. And I tried to convince myself that I found him and found out he drank. And that's why I latched on to him. Try to blame him for how hard I started drinking, but that's not the case. I really did find someone that was doing what I wanted to be doing and justified it because it was 2 of us doing it together. So anyway, we would drink and drink and drink. And I would sit up and do my college homework because I moved home and I started going back to school here, which I did end up graduating. But anyway, I would do my college homework and study and blah, 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 all while drinking. If I didn't have enough money to drink, that didn't matter. Like I would have tall boys of Natty Ice or Natty Daddy, one or the other, just cheap stuff that would get me where I was going. And I remember he stopped drinking and we had been talking about stopping drinking. He successfully stopped drinking for 5 years. And he was like, stop drinking with me. And the asshole that I was like, no. And he was like, well, would you not bring it to my house? And again, like I would somehow sneak alcohol into this man who was trying to better himself's house. Even though I've apologized for it, like I still feel like the biggest asshole for not being able to not drink around someone who was trying to not drink. Like what a jerk. He somehow stayed sober despite being in the environment of me. He did recently relapse and we rekindled, and I kind of, I didn't like that he was drinking, even though I was. And that kind of got me back to slowing down myself. That was earlier this year. And then he got a DUI and he started at this place called White Flint, which is like an IOP and an OP program. And so I started there too. And so we're getting sober together. And I will say it's definitely easier doing this alongside someone. It's not for him, but I'm grateful that he attracted me to wanting to get sober, because from IOP, they sent me to AA. From AA, it was literally the very first meeting that I knew I needed to be there. And I knew that a break was not sufficient for me. I knew I needed to not drink at all, because I know that if I was to drink tonight, I would not be able to just drink tonight. It would start off with, I did fine tonight. And then next week it'll be, I'll progress back up to drinking more than I want to, or drinking in discomfort and humiliating myself, not really like in public, but inside, like feeling disappointed in myself for not sticking to what I said I was going to do. So I am beyond grateful for this program. The principles that I'm living by now are so much better. My thoughts are better. I never liked gossiping, but I definitely don't do it now. Before I had some friends that would gossip and it was like, I didn't want to hear it, but I would still let them talk to me. But now I have the confidence to just shut it down. Like, I don't want to hear it. I just feel like I'm all around improving as a person because of the work that I'm putting in on myself. And I'm proud of who I am for the first time ever, truly proud of who I am. And every day I'm like, I cannot believe that this somehow just keeps getting better. And yet every day it does. I'm amazed at, the person I become in just 4 months. I can't see who I'll be in the rest of my life. I can't wait to see who I'll be in the rest of my lifetime. But I'm grateful that you guys sat here and listened to me. And that's all I have to say. So thank you guys.